Syria has now plunged into bloodshed again, despite a ceasefire negotiated 2 months ago. Over 200 people from both sides of the civil war have been reported killed since April 19th. But Wednesday saw the biggest violence in months. A hospital was hit by a rocket on the rebel side in Aleppo, while the government reports more than 1,000 artillery hits on its side of the city. Alexey Yaroshevsky reports.
February's diplomatic effort by Russia and the United States to cease hostilities in Syria was lauded as a glimmer of hope for the war-torn country. This hope seems to be effectively shattered, at least for now, with the divided city of Aleppo being the focal point of renewed bloodshed. On Wednesday night, according to rebel forces, a series of airstrikes hit the opposition-controlled parts of the city. One of the most notable reported targets was a hospital run by Médecins Sans Frontières. 27 people, including 3 children and 3 doctors, were reportedly killed. 40 more people reportedly died in a building adjacent to the hospital. At the same time, the government sources report of more than 1,000 mortar shots on government-controlled parts of Aleppo coming from the rebel forces. At least 14 people have been confirmed dead there, adding to several dozen civilians killed in parts of the city controlled by Damascus over the last week by rebel attacks. This week, which has been extremely deadly, with a combined death toll exceeding 200 people on both sides of the barricades in Aleppo. The city is on the brink of a full-scale humanitarian catastrophe, according to the United Nations. Its envoy on Syria, Staffan de Mistura, exclusively told RT that the situation was hanging by a thread and that a diplomatic effort must be renewed immediately.
I did send a message, a very heartfelt message to both the Russian and the American leadership to say, you own this cessation of hostilities, you're the ones who produced it. So Mr. Putin, President Obama, you came up with a remarkable achievement. Protect it. Make sure that it doesn't disappear. Do agree again on how this cessation of hostilities doesn't lose its energy, because it is in danger.
Damascus firmly denies it targeted the MSF hospital, and even the opposition forces are at odds as to whom they want to blame for the tragedy. Some point fingers at the government, some do at Russia. That's despite the fact that Moscow completely withdrew its fighter jets from Syria last month because, as officials said, most of the jobs were done. Moreover, Russian Ministry of Defense spokesperson said in a statement on Thursday that there have been no flights of the Russian air and space forces over the last few days over Syria whatsoever. He also said that the only plane that Russian intelligence spotted flying over Aleppo on Wednesday was that of the so-called anti-ISIS coalition, without disclosing particular details. Speaking of which, just this Monday, U.S. President Obama announced that there will be additional 250 U.S. troops sent to Syria, creating confusion both at home and abroad about whether Washington wants boots on the ground after all. Confusion is the theme of what's happening in Syria these days. Even when the ceasefire was agreed on, many pundits and even sides of the negotiations were already talking of a plan B. Now even UN envoy acknowledges there is no plan B here. It seems the only way to stop the bloodshed is to hold another round of diplomatic talks in Geneva to resolve this quagmire. But for now, those have stalled indefinitely. Alexey Yaroshevsky, RT, reporting from Washington, D.C.